Hi everyone, Sneakmaster here with a review of the Drake Golem Ox. The Ox is a new variant of the Golem released for IAE 2955, designed for cargo carrying. It's based on the same chassis as the Golem, but with some interesting changes. The Ox is 7 meters wide, 15.5 meters long, and 4.5 meters high, which is a little smaller in height than the regular Golem. Like the Golem, the Ox is still designed only for a crew of one. The cockpit is in the nose of the ship with a single seat that opens to the front with a flat door. There is just a little armor separating the pilot from space here. In the cockpit there are windows with views to the front and sides, but views above and below the pilot are blocked by the ship hull. There are 2 MFDs on top plus a basic radar, all in orange displays. There is no other space inside the cockpit and there are no living quarters on the ship. On the external right side of the cockpit is an access point for gear stowage of 900K micro SCU, which is pretty decent for a ship with no interior. There is also a gun rack that opens up on the right side for a single small gun and small utility device. On the left side is another gun rack for a single medium weapon or utility device. There is also a refueling port on the left side too. Behind the cockpit is the cargo bay. Here you can carry up to 64 SCU of cargo, which is as much as a hull A. The cargo grid is on the ceiling, and you can carry containers from 1/8 SCU all the way to 32 SCU containers. Unfortunately, you cannot carry vehicles on the cargo grid, except the ATLS mechs. You can load the mechs on the grid upside down using a tractor beam, allowing players to do ground mining with the Geo, or helping manage cargo with the base ATLS. There are also 4 access points here for components. One is actually on the ceiling, but you need to remove any cargo containers to get to the buttons to open the component access points. Behind the cargo bay is a remote tractor beam that can be extended to load or unload cargo. You have to be careful it doesn't get damaged because it's on a thin, flimsy pole. It is very well placed to move cargo boxes on or off the cargo bay though. You can remotely access the tractor beam from controls on the lower right of the cockpit, where you can see through the tractor beam camera. The Drake Ox has a single size 1 shield, industrial grade C, so it's not a well-defended ship. It does have a pretty decent hull strength though, more than many light fighters and even more than the base Golem. There is also a single size 1 power plant and size 1 cooler, both industrial grade C. The Ox has a size 1 quantum drive, industrial grade C, with a grade A jump drive. It has the same quantum speed as the Drake Golem and the RSI Aurora, but a little longer range than the base Golem. There's a hydrogen fuel tank of 24 SCU and quantum fuel capacity for 1.1 SCU. It's a little more quantum fuel than the base Golem, but the same hydrogen fuel. The Ox can fly at 200 meters a second in SCM speed and 1000 meters a second in nav mode, which is not horrible, but not amazing. It is a few meters per second slower than the base Golem. The Ox is also a little less maneuverable than the base Golem. The Ox also has VTOL engines that rotate to help take off from places with gravity, especially useful when carrying a lot of cargo. For weapons, the Drake Ox has 2 gimbal size 1 Bulldog laser repeaters on the sides of the nose of the ship. The guns are not very powerful, but decent enough against infantry or very small vehicles. You can use it against light fighters or small cargo ships, but it takes a long time to take down those targets. You could change the guns to ballistic guns to help damage ships with armor, or put distortion cannons to take down shields quickly and disable ship systems, to make up for the weak damage of size 1 guns. The Drake Ox also has 2 size 1 missile launchers under the nose, with a single size 1 missile each. You can change out the missiles themselves, but currently there are no other size 1 missile launchers to change it to, nor any size 1 bomb launchers yet. 2 size 1 missiles won't do a lot of damage, but might work to drop a ship's shields or take out ground targets. The Golem Ox is a small ship, but a little too large to fit inside many other ships except ones with very large cargo bays or medium-sized hangars. For example, it'll not fit in an Anvil Asgard, Mercury Starrunner, Mist Starlancer, even the TAC, the RSI Constellation series, RSI Perseus, or Drake Caterpillar, but it can fit in the hangars of the Carrack, 890 Jump, Idris, and Polaris, although with a tight squeeze on the Carrack. It can also fit in the Hercules cargo bay, but also with a bit of a tight squeeze. It'll probably fit in or on the future Drake Ironclad, Drake Kraken, Anvil Liberator, and RSI Galaxy, so make sure to have a big ship if you plan on transporting it. The Ox looks much like the Golem, with the rough blocky shape and giant engines, but the lower part of the ship is empty unless you're carrying cargo. The engines always look amazing on the Golem, and now the Ox, reminding me of ships from the Homeworld games or the old-style Terran Trade Authority spaceship books. The Golem Ox runs for $90 on the website, but in Warbond runs for $80. It's not currently available to buy in-game yet, but it will probably be available in a near-future patch at certain ship shops, like Lorville most likely. With this price, it's a little expensive for a starter ship, and is closer to a medium ship in capacity and price. The Ox has a default black paint with yellow warning highlights. You can also use any existing Golem paints or get the new ones that released for the 2955 IAE. There is the red and black Strongheart paint, the metallic gray steel paint, the black and blue Cipher paint, limited edition for the 2955 IAE event, and then the gray, yellow, and white Sunstruck paint, only available for concierge members. The Drake Golem Ox is a light freight ship. The Ox is a little expensive, but is very useful as a small cargo ship. Hopefully the in-game price will be a lot cheaper. The Ox can carry larger containers than the MISC Hull A, and it also has a tractor beam, making it much easier to load cargo than the Hull A. The Ox can function as a shuttle and loading vehicle for other larger cargo ships. It can carry various cargo boxes from ground locations that will be difficult for large ships like the Hull C to land at, up to orbit, and then use the tractor beam to load the containers onto these larger ships. The fact that it can carry 32 SCU containers makes it great even for Hull C or larger container ships. The Ox is like a mini raft, so it does the same sort of missions but for smaller cargo and shorter range, and much cheaper too. Players can also make a lot of money just doing cargo missions with the Ox, both in-system and between nearby systems. Just watch your fuel levels. You may have to refuel often when flying long range. You can also carry the small 1/8 SCU boxes to do the little delivery missions as well. The ship is relatively small, so it may be useful for running smuggling or blockade running missions, especially with stealth components installed. The large gear stowage, gun rack, cargo grid, and tractor beam makes the Ox great for exploring or salvaging enemy wrecks after combat. Just carry some empty containers to store any loot you find. The ship is also small enough that you can fit it in very large cargo ships like the Hercules or ships with decently sized hangars like the Polaris or Carrack, so orgs can carry the Ox long distance using their larger ships, possibly into combat, and then salvage the debris after battle. The future base building will probably require a lot of cargo containers, so players will probably be able to make some decent money transporting base supplies to future base sites. The Ox is also small and cheap to maintain. It only has small components and fuel tanks, so it'll be easy to do missions without burning a lot of money on maintenance. For drawbacks, the Ox has no living quarters, so the player will have to stop somewhere at the end of the day to log out. That limitation, plus the slightly smaller fuel tanks, will restrict the distance the player can go when carrying cargo. You also can't get into and out of an undersuit without internal space, so you'll have to stop at a base to change into and out of undersuits. Make sure to always be wearing an undersuit in case you have to get out of the ship in space, or in hazardous conditions. The other problem is that all components are outside the ship, so that means the player will have to stop the ship and get out to repair any components that go down. That'll be a pain with engineering, so make sure to keep your components in good condition. The Ox also has very weak shields and weapons, while not being the fastest or most agile ship, so it's not recommended to go into combat. Picking up cargo in dangerous space will be very risky, so either stick to safe space, get some friends to defend you, or get stealthy components to not get detected in the first place. You also cannot carry around ground vehicles on the Ox yet, limiting its use as a ground vehicle transport, but hopefully in the future CIG will allow ships with external cargo grids to carry vehicles. One last thing, make sure to carry a fire extinguisher, since the ship doesn't have a location in the cockpit to hold one. If your components in the back can't shot fire, then you'll need something to put out the fire. Aside from those few drawbacks, the Golem Ox is a very efficient cargo ship to have in any fleet. It's cheap to run, stores a lot of cargo, including the largest container sizes, and it has a tractor beam, so you can't really beat it for a one-player cargo ship. Alright, that's it for the Drake Golem Ox review. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. You can use my referral code if you decide to jump into Star Citizen, and you get 5,000 extra in-game credits. And you save more if you get one of the starter packs that are typically on sale. Here's a big thank you to my current patrons, Alana, Brandon, Vash Wildheart, and AceHog88. Please check out my Patreon membership to help me make more videos. All patrons and members will have their names listed at the end of my videos and get access to my Discord channel. Patrons can join my Discord and request particular videos for me to make, so feel free to sign up and let me know what you'd like to see next. Okay, catch you all next time.